The whole effort of improving the physical and mental health of our children focuses on teaching them how to make healthy choices. At Hebron Elementary School and in many of our schools, teachers and administrators are driving home the importance and the fun of being active.
Gone are the days of the gym classes spent watching from the sidelines. At Hebron Elementary School, the PE teachers design their classes so that the children never stop moving.
They have the exercise track, which has spots and manipulatives to go through, balance beams, S's, things to jump over. And then they have the rock wall, which is included in that. And then we do everything with music. In 2 songs, they switch.
Jeannie Humphrey has been a PE teacher for more than 30 years, and she's seen fitness trends come and go. After undergoing recent training, Humphrey and her co-teacher instituted the Sparks method.
Heart healthy. I want them 40 minutes of full activity. The most down they have, I hope, is always no more than 3 minutes for the whole class period.
The love of exercise seen here in PE class is overflowing out the gym doors and into the school as well.
It all stems from an understanding that kids do better academically when they're getting exercise.
Hebron principal Jason Webkenberg frequently reads healthy facts over the morning announcements, and 2 years ago instituted a no birthday treat policy.
While that may sound harsh for an elementary school, we realized that our students did not need to have cupcakes and cookies and cakes 2 or 3 times a week. Parents were very understanding. In fact, I received a lot of positive feedback from parents.
Hebron students, along with many other students in the EVSC, are also finding ways to get their exercise before and after school, thanks to things like the morning walking club or after-school intramurals.
Besides our walking club 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, on Friday we have a jump rope club that meets in the gym.
And if the kids' faces are any indication, exercise is fun.
I love it. The kids are busy. I have no behavior problems per se. Active children are happy children.
Reporting for Education Matters, I'm Jennifer Cahill.
And when we come back, I'll be joined by EVSC's coordinator of School Health, Dale Naylor, to talk about the effort in our schools to improve student health. Stay with us. Before the break, we took a look at the coordinated school health model in one of our schools at Hebron Elementary School. Joining me now is Dale Naylor, EVSC's coordinator of school health. Dale, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Dr. Bertram.
This is a very important work, and you've been involved as a classroom teacher and now at the district level. So in your opinion, why is this work important?
Well, you know, we realize that, you know, the health of our kids is so important, and it's tied to academic success. And, you know, back in the classroom, we started making this a priority, you know, and trying to roll this out on a small level. And we knew that we had to do something with the obesity rate and the lack of activity and poor nutrition.
And I talked to Dr. Joe right before you came on, and we were discussing, you know, a lot of cuts that have taken place across the United States, and particularly in physical education. But what people may have recognized as physical education in the past is very different today, correct?
Very much so. You know, in the past, you know, if you would play kickball or team sport, you'd have 90% of the people standing around not getting much physical activity. Now our focus is on, you know, everybody's involved, engaged in activity for the full class period.
So we've gone from physical education to more of a school-wide wellness program.
Exactly. You know, it's not just inside the gym, but it's a fact of, you know, we try to incorporate that into all areas of our curriculum. And so we try to promote it as wellness, not just, this is just physical education.
Well, it's an important piece because you talk about curriculum and how a number of curricular areas can be embedded into physical education as well, or into a wellness program.
Exactly. We know that kids that are active and healthy are better learners. And what we try to do is we try to give teachers tools that allow them to maybe take brain breaks within the curriculum to get up and move. We know that if they sit more than 30 minutes, you know, their lack of attention is going to go down. So we encourage those teachers to get those kids up, do some stretching, do some what we call brain breaks, some small activities, 2 or 3 minutes to actually get those kids up and moving.
So straight rows, everyone at attention is not the norm today.
Exactly.
What about school lunches? Let's talk about that.
Well, we have worked with our food services, you know, in the EVSC, and they have realized and understood the importance of how our lunches need to change, and they've embraced that, and the cooperation that we've received through food services has just been outstanding. More fruits and vegetables, less choices of high-fat foods, So, you know, the trend has really taken a turn. You know, in the last couple of years, it's been just outstanding.
Well, vending machines, and obviously when you start to give children choice and what they select, it's also important to put healthy choices in front of them.
Most definitely, and one of the big steps is that, you know, basically when you started, we got rid of Coke machines, soda machines, and changed our vending machines. And now we have healthy alternatives, you know, more juices, more waters, more things that are actually going to benefit those kids. And they buy them. It's not, you know, there hasn't been a mutiny. If they have those choices, they're gonna take them.
And they really took advantage of them. Things
Definitely.
like water and low-calorie drinks,
Exactly.
non-carbonated beverages have gone well.
Yes, very well. At first, you know, some schools noticed that maybe their revenue had dropped a little bit, but it's picked back up to the normal rate.
And one of the things we said to schools, this isn't about revenue.
Exactly.
This is really about providing healthy choices for our children and making sure that we are not contributing to this and perpetuate this obesity issue across the country.
Exactly, and we're promoting that we do healthy fundraisers. We try to take food out of the mix, our concession stands. What we try to do is give them tools and support to allow them to operate in a healthy environment.
We have a new wellness program, a new wellness policy.
Right.
We'll talk a little bit about that policy. What does it say?
What the policy does is it kind of gives guidelines and tools to our schools and gives them a guide, because a lot of our schools just don't know where to start. The policy is like a roadmap or a toolkit for them. It gives them those guidelines and policies to follow.
What are the greatest challenges moving forward?
Breaking old habits, because this is the way we used to do it. This has just been the hardest, probably one of our hardest. But the schools that embrace those changes, they have noticed a difference. The kids are more active, they are more engaged, they're just becoming better learners.
Well, Dale, we're about out of time, but okay. I want to say a couple things to you. First, you've done a wonderful job in your new position. But more importantly, when we walked on the set today and you saw Kip,
yeah,
and a great young man who's doing great things, but he came up and gave you a big hug.
Yeah.
And thanked you. Not only have you done a great job you're just an incredible educator. And I thank you for all that you're doing for our children in our school district.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
you
very much. Yes. We are out of time, right?
Okay.
So, yeah. Up next in the EVSC Spotlight this week, students are playing the stock market more successfully than some adults and getting excellent financial education in the process.
This week in our EVSC Spotlight, we're recognizing EVSC's stock market teams who competed in the Fall Stock Market Games sponsored by USI. The Stock Market Games give students in elementary, middle, and high school the opportunity to invest $100,000 of hypothetical money into the stock market to buy, sell, and trade publicly sold stocks and mutual funds on the New York Stock Exchange, Amex, and NASDAQ.
I will say, Jennifer, my son was involved in this game, and he was on the computer every night looking at the stock market. But the teams that made the most money above the $100,000 margin will receive awards on February 8th. In the elementary division, a team from Scott School placed first, and teams from Hebron Elementary placed second, third, and fourth. In the middle school division, 3 teams from Perry Heights placed first, second, and third. Perry Heights' first place team, coached by Don Cracker, made $7,000.
That's pretty impressive.
We started with $100,000 to spend on whatever stocks we thought were doing good. And after 10 weeks, they gave us rankings and we saw how much money we made or lost.
I pretty much did a lot of the research on the good and bad stocks, and I took expert opinions and told the rest of my group what other people said, and we would all agree on a stock to buy.
I thought this might be a more interesting way to incorporate it in the class than just stand up here talking about savings accounts and debit cards and all that other stuff. This might show them a little bit more of what goes on out there in the real world.
The first place team said Microsoft and Under Armour were their top performers, while Nike, believe it or not, was their poorest performer. Congratulations to them. And now for our final segment, the last word, Dr. Bertram, we're going to give it to you for your last thoughts.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Recently, Eric Bradner wrote a piece in the Courier and Press and talked about teacher contracts and collective bargaining that's happening in this General Assembly as we speak. Well, actually not today because they're out today, but it brings up an important point and how school districts work together to meet the needs of our children. And I would suggest while there are issues around collective bargaining and there will continue to be a debate, things are different in Evansville, and Eric pointed that out. However, we've already started conversations with the Evansville Teacher Association ongoing conversation about how we meet the needs of our children, understanding that a collective bargaining agreement that may have been created years ago may not meet the needs of our children today. And I am very proud of the collaboration that's taking place. I'm very proud of our teachers and the work that's happening in our schools and the improvements that are happening for overall education for children in Evansville.
All right, well, thank you very much. And that is it for us today. Next week, though, we want to remind you actually that there's an event tomorrow going on.
Yes, the EVSE is hosting its second Family Forum tomorrow night from 5:30 to 7 at Glenwood Leadership Academy. The topic, as we discussed earlier in the show, is health and wellness. And our expert, Dr. Joe, will be speaking, and families will have a chance to win a mountain bike, an Xbox Connect, gym memberships, and an iPod. We hope you'll join us.
Yeah, who wouldn't want that kind of stuff? I think
Absolutely.
that that's a very good reason to go to that event tomorrow night.
It should be a great event.
All right, well, thank you, and thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday. And as you go, here you go, a look at upcoming events in the EVSC this week.